Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another post-game live stream podcast edition thing of the Missing Lynx. I'm Andrew Dukowitz from Zone Coverage, and we're doing more of these bonus episodes because the Sirat Soe one people really enjoyed, Noah's episode, Sloan, and I figured who on earth would I rather geek out over Minnesota basketball with than Kyle Theige. How's it going, man?
It is going well. I was so hyped for this, and I also want to preface this by saying we're going to talk a lot about the Minnesota Lynx today. I do not pretend what you do and Mitchell and so many other people, like, there's so much better coverage. There's also so much more coverage now of the Lynx. And I've said this before on some other show where I've written about it, but like my first toe in the water of working in pro sports was I interned with the Lynx way back in the day when they were their dynasty. I was interning the 1 year where they didn't win a title. So I didn't get like a fake ring that all the interns got. But that's when I kind of got to know Cheryl. That's when I got to kind of know Jim Pete at the time. So I basically forced you to do this podcast because I was like, I want to talk about Olivia Miles. But again, I am not, I'm probably going to say some things that are wrong or stupid. I am not super well versed, but I just think I was thinking about what the expectations were for this team. And I always kind of tied to the Timberwolves, and Cheryl Reeve she just continues to kind of defy the odds and just zag while they're zig and build these teams that have a structure and a system. And, you know, I know we're going to talk WNBA, but we watched the Spurs in the finals, and you think about the Spurs and their culture. Cheryl Reeve and the Minnesota Lynx are the GOAT of culture in the WNBA, and it's translated into this season of the first in the standings. And a lot of it's led by maybe my favorite athlete in the country right now, Olivia Miles.
It's been, I mean, I'll be honest, like the Lynx were the first place that gave me credentials. They reached out to Zone Coverage and were like, hey, we're looking for more, we're looking for just more coverage. We think that we have a chance to be pretty good this year, this being like 2024. And Tom was like, hey, Andrew, what do you know about the WNBA? And I was like, well, I haven't watched a game since Maya Moore retired because that ripped my heart out.
Right.
But hoops is hoops. Like, I'm more than happy to get back into it. And like, it's just been really cool to see the league grow. Of just like, I remember going to games with my wife in 2017, and you'd pay $20 and sit like baseline on the floor in the XL that year. And now it's like $100 ticket to get in the building. I think they've hit 10,000 attendance, like 6 straight games. It's raucous in there. Like, it's just been so cool to see it grow in just the 2.5 years I've been doing it. But I think the other thing that's been really cool this year is like the amount of people like yourself, other like beat writers for the Wolves, like Chris Hine is tweeting about like Olivia Miles, like just the people from like I haven't talked to since high school reaching out, like what the heck is going on? I mean, there's something with this team that's just like everyone's watching, which for people like you who, you know, get an internship with the Lynx, that's kind of what you've always wanted, right? Is just people to watch.
100%. And on the concept of the league growing, I know we're recording this soon after the Lynx handed it to the Portland Fire, an expansion team out in my neck of the woods. But the Portland Fire are bringing in, they played Dallas on Saturday. I think they had 16,000 people there. Like, that's pretty crazy. And actually the Fire are, you might not have thought it last night at Target Center, but the Fire are actually kind of a fun team full of, I think they would call themselves outcasts or castaways, you know, people that were all kind of thrown into the expansion draft and like, we can still hoop. And they've been a good story. So that too, of like, you never know when you add teams in this league that's trying to grow, are we going to have a good response? And out here in Portland, I mean, they are as beloved right now as like the Blazers. So that's been pretty cool. But enough is enough. Like, this Olivia Miles thing, to your point about other people talking about it. And I know you have a bunch of stats, so just interrupt me whenever. But I mean,
no, I'm going to let you cook. You have not been able to talk Olivia Miles yet. You go.
And if you're like a diehard WNBA fan, like, again, I preface this because I don't want to sound like an idiot, but as a Minnesota basketball fan my whole life, like, I don't like comps in general. I don't like doing draft comps of this player could be this player. But when I watch her play sometimes, man, it's like, that is Ricky Rubio a little bit. Like, just the court vision is the thing that sticks out the most. And I think and you've been at all these games. I think she started the season as a rookie on a team that, again, maybe had like slightly lower expectations, although now they're headed towards winning a title. And maybe we should talk about Fee coming back at some point. Like, what a crazy season this has been. But I think she started like any rookie of like, all right, I'm just going to facilitate and I'm going to get others involved. And I think the early highlights were all of her incredible passes, the way she can run pick and roll like a 7-8 year vet. And in the last couple of weeks, and maybe the numbers back this up, I feel like she started to kind of lean more into her offensive game, like just scoring. Yeah. And that's been dynamic too. And it's like, okay, well, if she can score like that off the bounce, how many times do you see her Statue of Liberty her way to the rim? Like, that's like one of her trademarks now, is just like, I don't even need the left hand. But her ability to score, and then just everything she sees out there for, I think she's 22, like a rookie coming out of college. It's truly incredible. And not only does it make a game fun, you got to go to a game. It doesn't make the season fun, but it does kind of get you back into like, do you remember 2 months ago when we were all just focused on like the Nafisa Collier 1-year deal? That stuff kind of changes in my mind too, of like, this might be the number one player right now in the WNBA that you want to play with.
Yeah.
So it's just been crazy, man. It's been crazy to watch.
Yeah. I mean, to your point, it was kind of funny, like watching back like clips from the beginning of the year, because teams are just like going over the screens, like they're kind of blitzing her a little bit, like saying, oh, she's a 40% shooter in college, let's try and take away some of that shooting. And then Liv just has the like gas to be able to just turn the corner and get to the rim and do the little Statue of Liberty thing. And over the last like 4 or 5 games, teams have just kind of been like, okay, well, we're going to just double her off of pick and rolls. We're going to send help. We're going to start treating her like a superstar. And now she's just like drop stepping threes and like back step threes, behind a screen threes. Like, she's almost shooting 50, 40, 90 now after starting her career, like 2 of 18 or something absurd from 3. It's the processing speed is something I've like never witnessed. And that's, you know, there's going to be a lot of like Wolves Lynx crossover in this episode. So for like the W fans that hate that, I apologize.
Yeah.
But, like, that's just the reality.
Hand up. That's on me. That's on me.
That's just the reality of having one guy that covers the Wolves on a very close basis and another guy that's like on the beat for the Wolves and the Lynx. But like, you look at the stuff she does and then you look at like the Wolves and it's like, man, no one on the Wolves has the like court vision or awareness that Liv does. And like you said, she's a rookie. She's 14 games into her career.
Yeah, she had that Golden State game where she shot 8 from 11 from 3. Yeah. I think that's kind of like, I mean, now we're already nitpicking a 22-year-old rookie who I think there's no doubt, barring any injury, she's going to win Rookie of the Year, which also too, as I tweeted last night, the city of Minneapolis is on top of maybe renaming Lake of the Isles, Lake of the Miles for at least one day. We are working on that. Sources confirm. But that the 3-point shot will only come around, right? Like, I think she took 14 shots or more, Andrew, just once in May. I think she's done it 3 times in June. And that's just, again, I think her naturally, you're around her all the time. Like, I don't think she's shy, because she definitely lets you know she's on the court when she's on the court, as you saw last night with that technical, kind of letting people know how good she is. But I think she's just really respectful. Like, and I think she started that first month being like, I'm going to get these vets involved, get them comfortable. And now that they're comfortable and they're always like looking for her because she's looking for them, it's opened up her offensive game. And now it's like, yeah, the only thing you can nitpick is like the turnovers are high. Okay, that's fine. She's 22. And the 3-point isn't as much of a threat yet. Again, that 8 for 11 kind of buoyed everything, but that's just going to come. Like, you just get it. So in this league, the way that the pace has increased and there's so much more shooting and athleticism now than like maybe 10 years ago, having a point guard, like a true Chris Paul mixed with Ricky Rubio, mixed with all these different NBA comps, like to have that. It's also really cool that like Lindsay Whalen is one of our coaches. Because when I was interning there, it doesn't seem fair. Like, Lindsay Whalen was also like ahead of her time in terms of court vision and like getting others involved. And to be able to have that kind of mentor around you every day, I mean, the sky is the limit. And like I was saying about Rookie of the Year, I mean, where's Olivia Miles in like the MVP conversation? And that in and of itself is
Most
crazy.
people have her top 5. Like
Dude,
The Ringer has her top 5. USA Today has her top 5. CLNS has her top 5. ESPN has her top 5. Like, she is in top 5 MVP candidate talks in her 14th game. And it's not even like an ironic thing. Like, she is legitimately one of the 5 best players in the league, which, like, when she came in, there's a lot of comps to like Chelsea Gray because of the like flare passing and kind of some of the stuff, the court vision stuff. But like, like, this is the worst Olivia Miles is ever going to be at professional basketball.
Exactly.
And she already is probably 5% not as good as Chelsea Gray. Like, there isn't a comp for her because she's just going to break everything. And I think the things that were like question marks, right? Like, is she going to be able to play defense at the pro level? She's leading the league in defensive rating. Like, is she going to be able to shoot? Well, she's almost shooting 40%. Is she athletic enough? She is the number 1 in field goal percentage at the rim for a guard. And then, like, is it going to be too fast? And it's like, I'm a big turnover guy. I hate them. People who listen to the show know that that's like my number 1 critique with like guards in general. But like, she still has over a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. So like, even the critiques you can lodge, like, she's just been perfect, which again is insane. It's insane. It's made me rethink everything I know about basketball to the where I'm now sitting here like, well, maybe Berenger will just be great next year. And it's like, well, probably not. This doesn't happen often, but like,
I'm so glad you said that, because I was on the Timberwolves side, on the NBA side, like we're starting to ramp up for the draft, which is next week. And prepping for this made me think about the 2025 WNBA draft, because I'm sure you've talked about this before, but I want to talk about it quick. Like, not only in my time getting to know Cheryl and then just following this team for the last decade, like, is Cheryl Reeve a really good coach, but she also just runs, and the front office runs a really smart like ship. And one of the best trades in WNBA history, if Olivia Miles becomes as good as she is, was that trade with Chicago less than 12 months ago, where I had to look it up again because I thought I remembered it. And I was like, that can't be true. It wasn't that. They literally just got the Chicago Sky's 2026 unprotected first round pick so that the Sky could draft at 11. Is that right? Like, They got the 11th pick. Like, those are the type of moves that, like, you know, like, I thought it was cool when the Timberwolves on the men's side got Io for some second round picks. Like, they might have gotten one of the 5 best players in the league for basically a late first round pick. It's just that move completely reset a dynasty. And you know, think about this, like, from the Warriors, dynasties kind of end, and it's really hard to kind of regrow all of that. You need a franchise changing face of the league type thing. And for Cheryl to just find another one and to slowly build all of this around her again. Like, I don't want to just pack Nafisa's bags. Like, I would love for her to maybe sign more contracts and stay here, but she's got to be sitting there, right, man? She's got to be sitting there, whatever happened, whatever she ultimately does, and being like, how do I leave this? How do I leave this player who on any given night gives me the best chance to win and also is going to just make my life so much easier on the offensive end? And then to the defensive rating thing, like, I don't want to get you in trouble, but like, WTF? Like, how is she doing that on both sides of the ball at this age?
She is the second most attacked on pick and rolls. Only Caitlin Clark has more pick and rolls that she's defended. And Liv has the best defensive rating in women's basketball. Like, that's literally insane. Which, like, Cheryl, after she drafted her, like, I remember asking her that night, so like, the defense, and Cheryl was like, well, I kind of think like it's more like she was allowed to do certain things at TCU, and that Liv is the type of person that if she's the worst defender on a team, she's going to take that personally. So Cheryl's very confident that like Liv is going to be able to figure it out. But like, this could be a player that, like, as a rookie, wins Rookie of the Year, all W first team, all W defense first team. Like, might as well just throw the most improved in too. Like, just give her everything.
And maybe Coach of the Year, like the way she gets everyone else involved on the court. Like, that's crazy about the second most attacked, because watching some of these games, like, ironically, I thought her most impressive. What do you think her most impressive game was this season? I'm kind of putting you on the spot a little bit.
So to me, it's not there was, I'll bring it up here because I don't think she had the best. It wasn't like her best statistical game that it kind of
Right.
like
And
clicked in of like, oh shit. It was, I'm just bringing up the box here quick. It
I'm doing a
was,
Kyle Theige thing here where I'm going to kind of trick you no matter what, but I'll answer first then. I thought
yeah.
her most impressive game, not best game. I thought her most impressive game was in a loss to the Aces because
Okay.
she
Yeah.
had a
Fair.
very not Olivia Miles kind of box score, right? She only had 1 assist and she had 6 turnovers. But I thought the 29 points, which I think was a career high,
Yep.
and just going at the best, right? Because out here, like I watch a lot of Aces games. Like the Aces, if you're not familiar with WNBA, is like are kind of the crown jewel right now in the league, defending champs, and like they've got real. We talk about this in the NBA too, like kind of adults. The Aces have like adults, and for Olivia
Yeah.
Miles to go toe for toe with them, I thought that was just. It showed you her confidence is just brimming, and like she is so ready for the moment. They lose the game, right?
Yep.
But I just thought that was so impressive that at this age, she was like, "You're the champs, like F it. I know I'm on your home court or whatever, but I'm ready for this." And they had a chance to win that game too, which was kind of a bummer. But that was the moment I think I'll remember when she does accumulate all these trophies later on. It's like she went toe for toe early in her rookie season with some of the best, and she held her own.
So I looked it up, and it's the win over Atlanta was the game that for me, just watching it from the press area, she again, not her most impressive, 16 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, had 3 turnovers. But there was just a moment in that game where she like brought the ball up and Cheryl called something from the sideline, and it, you know, as Olivia was bringing the ball up, she kind of like called for Tosh to come set up pick and roll, and Cheryl called a play. So Nia Coffey also went up to her, and Liv was like in the middle of handing it off to Nia, and then out of the corner of her eyes saw what the corner defender on K-Mac was doing in
Mhm.
regards to Tosh coming up for that screen. And Liv like took a couple steps back and then just screamed to get the ball back, like clapped her hands a bunch, got the ball back, called the exact same screen, ran a pick and roll, and just shot a pass to K-Mac in the corner for a 3. And it's just like that processing speed is insane. Like, how many times do you see a player bring the ball up and then see a play call and just go like stand in the corner and wait for it to be done? And there's another play in that game where she just like was looking center court and just does like a no look pass as soon as the corner defender like sags into guard Howard. And it's like
Mhm.
she's doing stuff with her eyes that like quarterbacks do.
I was
And
and
those
for
are the
you,
things where
yeah.
just that's insane. Like you're a rookie at that time. It was like your 7th game, and you're like manipulating a defense with your eyes, and like your
Mhm.
processing speed is so fast that you're just like confident enough to blow an entire play up to run a pick and roll because you saw like a corner defender move. That's insane.
In the quarterback analogy, I do this all the time on the NBA side, but the way Olivia Miles was kind of dropped into this, it kind of
Mhm.
reminded me of when like the NFL team has all the really good, talented tight ends and wide receivers and running backs, but they need that rookie quarterback to come in and kind of make it all work. But from just like a personal level, like Minnesota Lynx without Olivia Miles have a lot of really good WNBA players, but they've all
Yep.
been around for a little bit. Like they're not just going to hand the keys over to someone who maybe doesn't deserve them. And for her to come in like and appease these vets and make their lives easier. If you just go back and watch, you mentioned the Atlanta game that they won, which I think was just a couple weeks ago, right? Like it was on late May. I
Yep.
was thinking back to the first game of the season, I think was regular season, was against
Yep.
Atlanta. And if you just kind of go back and watch that versus now, even her teammates, like I do think the first couple games, it's like you're a 23-year-old rookie. And now I think they would take a bullet for her. Like, I
Yep.
think they're like, you're low key like the leader of this team, which again kind of makes me think about long term stuff. I just think that's impressive too, because to be a quarterback, to be the type of point guard that I think you and I envision for the Timberwolves, you kind of need to have that command and that respect while also managing the pressure of if I fuck this up a bunch of times, the vets are going to get mad at me. And she just doesn't do it. I mean, she does. She's clapping for the ball in big moments, being like, I'm either going to get a really good shot or I will get you a shot. Just
Yep.
give me the ball and trust that you'll get it back. It's just, there's not enough praise you can send her. It's just been
No.
phenomenal to watch. She's literally, It doesn't matter what sport. She's box office. Like anytime Olivia Miles is playing basketball, you have to tune in to watch it.
And it's so consistently good too. Like there aren't, like Chris Finch talks about it all the time, and I've said this on the pod before, but like, sorry for people who've listened, you can fast forward 10 seconds, but like Chris Finch talked about it all the time with Rob of like, when you have a rookie, you expect like one good game, one not so good game, and one horrible game. And you just kind of live with it until they learn. Like Liv has had maybe one not so good game. She hasn't had any horrible games. She hasn't had like any really average games. It's been 13 excellent games where she's the best player on the court, and then one game where it was like, yeah, off night. She wasn't used to playing Chicago yet, which again, like you mentioned the aces. I just want to go back to that quickly. Like she also had the flu. Like,
yeah, I saw you like say that after
she was sick. Like that's insane. Like everything about her is insane, which I mean, I also want to just get your thoughts on like I don't know, like the Minnesota basketball, like cultural impact of this. Cause like, it is like, she's making point guards cool again. Like that between the afro, the puff, the goggles, she shit talks almost as much as Anthony Edwards, if not the same amount. I mean, like Fanatics and the WNBA are sold out of her jerseys still. Like
that's crazy. That's crazy. I also
like, you cannot buy an Olivia Miles jersey right now.
They need to fix that. They also need to get more at the team store. Also, if you're buying jerseys from Fanatics, good luck, because sometimes they'll just print like my last name on the back of it. But but no, I do.
Oh, Theige.
But back to like
to Abby's point, Travis Scott put her as his Instagram. Like this, it's insane. And then just to finish my thought, like you have this in Liv, who is like has the potential to like reset basketball in a way that like Curry did. And on the other side of the same practice facility, you have Anthony Edwards, who is, I would say, probably doesn't have the same chance of like resetting basketball, but like equally authentic, equally kind of brash, and leading a team. Like for Minnesota, who has been so down bad for basketball stars, it's just awesome, isn't it?
I think the Abby's point about Travis Scott, for those who don't know, Travis Scott like posted just a still grainy image. I want to say Travis Scott's social team probably could have found a better, clearer photo. But just posted a photo of Olivia Miles on his IG story, and like that tells you how much this has already exploded, right? Like this is not tethered to the 10,000 likes. Like this is already growing at like a FIFA social media rate, right? Where it's like one guy plays goalie and he gets 7 million followers. I ant aside, I mean, I kind of think back to the last time we saw this, right? Was like with Caitlin Clark. That was different because Caitlin Clark did it in college at a level that almost no one had done it. And then she entered the league, and we kind of thought she was going to change the league just by like floor spacing or outside shooting. Yeah. And that's a lot of things going on over there that I'll let someone else talk about. But now, I mean, her stock or whatever is kind of like slipping. It does feel like this league is hungry for more stars, but more like face of the leagues. Again, like you always have the aces and some of these bigger market teams. But if you were to tell me that in her sophomore season that she was the face of the league and like Adidas is putting almost as much attention into her as they are their other star athlete in Minnesota, Anthony Edwards, like none of that would shock me anymore. Like I am at a point now where nothing would shock me in terms of you're like, yeah, dude, Olivia Miles rookie season, she won a title. Like, okay. Like, yeah, I just think the sky is the limit while also acknowledging what we said at the top. I don't think she shoots the three very well right now. Fine. Like that's only going to get better the way she has such a smooth jumper. And as she gets older and the game slows down, you see this. There are moments where the game is still ratcheted up a little bit and she's into it. Those turnover numbers are just going to cut in half, especially with Cheryl coaching her and Lindsay in her ear. Like those will just go down. And now you're looking at someone who has, a 3 or 4 to 1 assist to turnover ratio in her third season. And the pieces around her now fit better. That's another thing too. When we talk about Ant and this summer, putting the right pieces around him, Cheryl now has this challenge of, can we put enough shooting around her and defense because she is that good. And we just are 25 minutes into glazing, as the kids say. But it's been so fun to watch. And about the culture thing, which is so smart. Yeah, man. Like if you son or daughter or whatever, like I think you got to go watch her because I think she is revolutionizing the point guard position in that league. And also, as you're watching in the men's side, like that's kind of coming back. Like you need floor generals out there to put other people in position that can do it both ways. It can't just be like I said, Ricky Rubio at the top. It has to be Ricky Rubio with the jump shot. And she has it all. And it's only going to get better. So if you have not watched her play in person, I know tickets are more expensive now. Like, dude, you got to get to a game. You have to because she's on a path right now. I think you're in like trading cards and stuff, right? Like if you can get the card right now of Olivia Miles, that's SpaceX right now. Like you got to get that trading card because that thing's going to be worth a lot of money down the road.
I mean, I'm still waiting for I feel like the mainstream side of media is catching up pretty quick. I'm just like, oh God, this is someone that's going to feed generations, right? Of just if they can market her the right way. I mean, the other thing is just like the Lynx right now are just, if you do have like a young son or daughter, they're just like the perfect team to get your kid involved with. Cause it's like Liv is just super authentic, super herself, like wears what she wants, wears her hair the way she wants. And then is also just brash. And then in press conferences is like tearing up because people are buying her jerseys and like super wholesome. You have like Kayla McBride, who is, like a Guitar Hero legend and bakes and like, is the vet that's been grizzled and gone through kind of everything. Courtney Williams is like a role model. It's weird to say that about someone that I think had 24 women show up to her birthday game, but like she's also like, if you want to raise someone to be like authentic, just show them like Courtney Williams clips of like, this is what people crave. They crave like that connection. And then like we've gone this far with barely talking about Nafisa Collier, who is also like the most normal superstar I've ever been around. Like I'd use like the analogy all the time of like, she just has this like aura on her around the basketball court. And then she like trips going up to the podium almost every time.
Right.
Like still a klutz, which again, you mentioned if your fee, like what's going through your head when you're watching this. I mean, if winning is truly the most important thing, I don't know how you don't resign here in the summer, right?
So I brought us back to last summer when that trade to acquire the pick that then, and you knew it at the time, right? Like you were like, that's a wild trade. Like, why would you give up? I mean, I spent the last 12 months.
Real quick fact check. It was 2023.
Okay. Yes.
So it was 2023. Sky move up, just to rehash it. Sky move up one pick to select Angel Reese. The Lynx move down and they get what's her name? I can't think of her name. We traded her for Maisha Hines-Allen though. Sika Kone, that's what it was. They also got the best pick in a three-way pick swap between Washington, Chicago, and their own. And then they still just like picked a spot later. And then they used Sika Kone to get Maisha Hines-Allen, integral part in the 2024 run. That offseason, they get rid of the Washington part of that pick swap to get Carly Samuelson, along with trading some other stuff in and out. And yeah, basically they got the second overall pick in this draft for nothing. Like Chicago doesn't even have any Angel Reese anymore. Like Chicago has
exactly
2 Atlanta first round picks for giving up Olivia Miles. Like it's insane, which continue to cook though, Kyle. I just wanted to
no. That was
that weren't in the Lynx snow.
But I just want to put it out there. I knew, again, this is why I preface at the top. I'm not the most educated, but I am definitely I'm not driving the Olivia Miles bandwagon, but like I'm probably riding shotgun and my dog's on my lap. But I had Googled, I was like, Lynx Chicago Sky trade because I knew that. But I was, I guess, reading a press release from, did they make another trade? Like at some point where the Lynx own the Chicago Sky draft pick this year? Okay, so
so
maybe the
Chicago
Sky should hang up the phone.
Season that gave them basically Chicago's outright pick, which you're not wrong. I just wanted to add more context.
Nope. If you're listening to this, and I'm sure you are, if there are members of the Chicago Sky front office listening to this, and you see a number from Minnesota on the radar, maybe don't answer it because you're probably not going to win that trade.
Just don't pick it up ever again.
But the one thing, this is the reason I'm on here. The one thing I do know, and you don't have to fact check me on, is vibes. It's kind of my area of expertise on the Wolf side. On the Lynx side, no one is closer to this than you. Like, the vibes are really great right now, and the chat's popping. But what were the vibes like in this offseason where I know they draft Olivia Miles, right? But then, like, they do kind of strike out on everyone you thought that maybe they could get in free agency. And then the fee contract extension is just, or the deal is like 1 year and it's not the max 3 or whatever. Going into this season and that first game in Atlanta, weren't the vibes pretty bad?
Yeah. I wouldn't say they were bad. I think
they were scary though.
It was scary because if this team isn't good, Fee's going to leave. Like that was kind of the reality. Like, I think we can talk about it. You know, we never will for sure know what Fee would have done if this team starts 0-8, but like, Fee wants to win. She doesn't know how much longer she's going to play basketball. She just had dual ankle surgery. Like, if this team just was bad, it's a reality where they're maybe shopping Fee at the deadline, or they are letting Fee hit open free agency and just trying to, you know, compete with other teams. But like, I feel like within 5 games, the vibe completely switched of like, oh, this team's insane.
And you're the reporter here. I'm just a fan of yours. But when that contract stuff comes out and then she starts doing like the interviews, Fee I'm talking about, you know, like, you put your bias and your fandom aside, like, it did seem like this is paving the way for an exit. And that was weird because, like you said, like, that type of superstar in this market, it was just such a perfect mix. And she's a legend around these parts. And she does want to win and all those things you say, you know, that are right. Like, she actually believes in. But then to watch Olivia Miles, back to her, like, play basketball. I don't even know if I have like an NBA comp. Really? I mean, like, the half-assed one is like when LeBron came back to Cleveland. I mean, this is terrible. But like when LeBron came back to Cleveland because he could play with Kyrie, like, that's not a good one. Just like an older established, someone in the chat, like an older established veteran who's a superstar that gets like this incredibly young running mate. I don't know if you're Fee, like, where you look and say that gives me a better chance to win. Marketability, yeah, the coasts, they give you, the Aces get more coverage, right? Like, if the Sparks can figure it out in LA, the Liberty, like, those teams will always still, even in the WNBA, get more eyeballs or more attention. But if you want to keep putting banners up in Target Center, like, how do you leave this 23-year-old rookie who, as you and I were just saying, like, is top 5 in MVP voting right now? You know, like, all the MVP stuff. Like, now your running mate, who is going to be here, I would imagine, her whole career. It's just an incredible turn of events. Like, the last 2, you said those 5 games, like, over the last 60 days, I would imagine Cheryl just sleeps so much better at night because she knows that she made the right pick. She made the right trades to get to that pick. And now it's almost like calling someone's bluff. Like, all right, Fee, if you really want to win, if you want to win in these last years of your basketball career, find a better spot than this one. Fascinating stuff.
It's Josh brings up Shaq and young Wade. Like,
Great
that
one.
probably is the Dwayne Wade, and then you just have prime Shaq in Miami. Like, it again, I before we started recording here, I was just going through and like looking up statistics, and I have a couple for you just on like the Lynx and just how dominant they've been. So if the season were to end today, the Lynx would have the best offensive rating in the history of the WNBA.
Seems good. Like
14 games in, they have already put up a historically good offense. If you look at their offensive rating from this year to last year, it's 5 points better than last year's Lynx team that led the league. Their defensive rating over the last 10 games has been under 95, which again is just like, that just doesn't happen. Like,
right.
It's such an absurd stretch. I mean, last year's defense rating was 97.5. Their net rating over the last 10 games where they went 9-1 is 22.6. Atlanta's number 2 over that time frame at 10.3. Their point differential in the last 10 games is plus 185. Their only loss was a 3-point loss to the Vegas, and they don't have Fee, which
right.
I think a big something that I'm like struggling to like comprehend is that this team is by far the best team in the WNBA right now. Like, I know they just lost to the Aces in Vegas, but you have Natasha Howard fouling out in that game and Olivia Miles sick, just kind of crushing them. And they don't have Fee. Like, Fee is the second best player in the league. And once she comes back, like, you can't double Olivia Miles. You can't hedge on K-Mac. You can't cut off pick and rolls because you just have a 50, 40, 90, 3-time all WNBA forward just sitting there waiting to go off, which I think for Liv too, when you look at like, why is Minnesota, which Liv, it's as I stutter through it, like it's exclusively a Minnesota thing where we're always waiting for a superstar to leave, right? Like, you know, Nicole brings up in the chat, like, fear is Fee wants to go play with Paige. Well, unfortunately, they're paying Alana Smith $1.2 million to play 9 minutes a night, so they probably don't have cap room. But like, Liv is under contract for at least 7 years with the Lynx, and if you can pair that with Fee for the next 3 or 4 years, I don't know how they don't win at least 2 rings. I mean, the dominance is just insane.
And that's where I talked about kind of calling your bluff, right? Because yes, that's a very Minnesota thing that you get this fun player on the Vikings, the Twins, the Lynx, the Timberwolves, the Wild, whatever, and you're just, okay, how are they going to break our heart? But this one with Fee specifically is a little different because it's kind of like, if Olivia Miles didn't exist, well, then you'd be like, okay, you know, maybe you didn't like this comment by so-and-so or this contract negotiation or whatever. I'm going to go try something else. But now it's like, I mean, with all due respect to like local legend Paige, like, is that a guaranteed better situation than just playing with Olivia Miles and playing for an organization that has shown that they can build not just one title winner, but like multiple title winners? So yeah, I think that whole thing is crazy. No pushback. They are the top team in the WNBA right now. I do think that in order to win a title this year or maybe next year, we'll see. I mean, the Olivia Miles trajectory is so pointing up, but I do think they need Fee though. You know what I mean? Like, this season is still, I think we got like 3.5 more months of regular season WNBA basketball. That's still something to put a little cold water on how hot this conversation is. In order to win, and I still think to get through New York and to get through Las Vegas, they're going to need Fee. But we've never seen them. Like, imagine that first night that he comes back and those two are playing, or God forbid when they get a little chemistry, like in August. What is the status there for novices like me? Like, what is Fee's health update?
Well, as you know, covering the Wolves and being an employee of the Lynx at one point, they do not talk about injuries. So even though yours truly, Andrew, asks Cheryl at every practice, any updates on Fee or Dorka, it's just they are doing basketball activities, not with the team, and they will be back eventually. I get the sense that both of them are trending, as Benjamin says, hashtag basketball activities, spot on timing. But like, I get the feeling they will both be back sooner rather than later. Like, I don't think either of them is like post All-Star break or like creeping into August. Like, just the tea leaves you can kind of see of, like, you know, Fee's out there rebounding and like shooting and stuff like that before games now. Like, I think they're getting closer. And you know, feet and ankles are weird. Like, you're going to do that extra MRI before you bring them back and like risk something for Fee or Dorka. But I mean, that's, again, it's the part I like can't quite contextualize yet, because This is a team that is dominating the league in everything. I mean, they're the best team in true shooting. They're the best 3-point team, the best field goals against, the best number one again in defensive field goal percentage, number one in defensive 3-point percentage. They like assist to turnovers are creeping up into the top 4. They are just, they are the best they're the number one rebounding team in the league, Kyle. Like they don't have a weakness. And then they're just going to like walk into getting the second best player in basketball back and a big that won EuroLeague MVP last year, second youngest to win it other than Breanna Stewart. And that's just like their trade deadline is.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it.
For nothing, which like, I don't know what that does. I know Fee isn't the person that's going to come in there and be like, I hate only shooting it 14 times wide open a game. I completely agree with you. Like, I don't think this team without Fee or Dorka is like number one championship, like Vegas odds. But if Fee is 80% what she was last year, someone in the chat mentioned it. Like, you have 2 players that are flirting with 50, 40, 90 on high usage. Like, I don't know what you do defensively to stop that.
I was just looking to say, yeah. So right now, our friends over at DraftKings, the Lynx are plus 320 to win the NBA or the WNBA finals, but that is behind the Aces and the Liberty. So again, those and the Aces are like plus 300. So it's all kind of, they all have the same amount of odds. But I do think when the lights are the absolute brightest come late September, early October, the Aces and the Liberty are going to be the teams I still think that have the best chance, unless we can see how getting 2 of the best bigs in the league, like that, how that plays into, because, you know, there's going to be somewhat of a transition, right? Like, I can't imagine any better WNBA superstar to just plop back into this whole working organism than Fee. But there's going to be some stuff that's a little different. They've never been able to play basketball together. It's not like Fee got hurt during the season. Her and Olivia Miles have probably never, you know, I know hashtag basketball activities. Their basketball activities have probably been like volunteering in WNBA outfits. You know what I mean? Like, they've never ran a pick and roll. So that will take some time, but it's also nice too of they don't have to rush. I mean, you said this at the top, like double ankle surgery. I don't even know what that means. Like, that sounds terrible. So, I mean, they don't have to rush her back because they're the top team in the league right now. But I also think too, it's imperative that she's out there by like mid-July or something, just so you can start to get reps. Because I do think it probably takes a little bit to understand if Olivia Miles like is going to have the ball in her hand so much of like, okay, you got to constantly be looking for me and not just vice versa. So, but those are all fantastic problems to have, right? Like, back to the vibe. 60 days ago, even though Olivia Miles was the second overall pick, it felt like tough because I'm on WNBA Twitter. Like, it was a tough vibe right now with Fee and all the stuff and striking out in free agency, and to wake up in
9 players left. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, it's crazy, man. It's really fun to watch. And if you're a Minnesota fan, whatever, if you're just a basketball fan, like, this is the team to watch right now because not only are they good, but they're well run. And they also, sometimes this matters to fans. Like, they're also fun, right? Like, there's teams that can win, but it's not really fun. They're doing the whole thing. And as Andrew said, like, pick a category. They're just the best at it. That's really fun to watch.
I mean, Godfrey mentions it in the chat. The Lynx are the polar opposite from the Wolves, which, I mean, honestly, I don't know about you, but just watching a Lynx team beat an average opponent by 30 and just like wire to wire win, man, that's been refreshing. Like, there is no like sleepwalking into games. It's just, they're just awesome. You know what to get. McKinney adds, this is Kyle, for if you're not fully locked into Lynx Twitter or WNBA Twitter, the amount of detective work that fans will go through to see if somebody has new hair and if that relates to them returning to the court. I will say it does correlate pretty well. Like, normally when Fee gets her hair done, she's about to put off one of the best games of her career. Skylar Diggins also that way. Normally when her hair is fresh, it means she's about to drop something that's going to be on a lot of highlights. Before we get out of here, because I know I said 40 minutes and we're at 45.
No, I'm gonna take the keys for a second because this is not on the outline, and I've already made you go long. But I did want to I don't have any other spot to talk about this. Like, it kind of has to be
Okay, yeah.
here. Olivia Miles goes second overall.
Yep.
Ozzy Fudd, I should say, goes
Yep.
first overall. And Dallas just played in Target Center a couple of nights ago, right? And I am not fully embraced in WNBA Twitter, but if you're listening, I'm welcoming. Like, I'm trying to get more into it. Can we just talk about quick, like the whole drama with showing the
Yeah,
comparison
sure, we
thing
can.
and all that? Because, and this is where I might get myself in a little bit of trouble, but as a lifelong or the last 15 years WNBA fan, the one thing that I've always fought for, and you know this, like talking to me offline, is like, this sport is really fun. Like, they
Yeah.
deserve the coverage. And this is me backing the Lynx and attacking Dallas. But like, you can't want this. This is applicable to anything. You can't want your favorite team or your favorite sport to get more notoriety and to get more respect and to get more coverage, and then get pissed off when it gets treated like the other sports and the way other things are covered, right? Like, in any NBA setting, they're going to show comparisons between the first pick and the second pick. That's just like natural stuff. So when the Lynx did it that night, I could not believe the outrage of like, I can't believe they're doing that. They're humans. Like, I'm with all that. Like, you and I do the human side of things all the time, but also too, like,
That's
it
my
is
whole
kind of
shtick.
like, if you want their same respect, and they deserve it, like they deserve the same respect as the men's leagues, you kind of got to take some of the heat that comes with that the men deal with. And I just thought that was crazy. I just thought, again, I don't know what was going on with the Dallas fan base. I'm sure they're not listening to this, but I was so happy.
There's some hate listeners in here.
Oh, I'm gonna have to protect my account. But it made me happy because it's like, oh, those are the types of like stupid online debates that we would have in January of an NBA thing, or that they would talk about on First Take. Like, I loved it was like that keep that same energy thing. I love that had translated to the WNBA, because you know what, Dallas is gonna be really good. Like, once they kind of figure out their team a little bit, they have so much talent. They're gonna figure it out. She's gonna be a great first overall pick. But right now, man, like the person who went second is just playing better. And sometimes that's cool. Sometimes it's like fun to have those rivalries, or that kind of, like you said, shit talking. Like, I know they blew the fire out last night, and my Fire fans in my life, and there are many, were not super amped about Olivia Miles talking that talk. But that's what makes this all fun, right? Back to like, not only do they win, they entertain you. And that's what this is all about. So more comparisons, more shit talking on Twitter would make this all more fun.
It does. And I do think that's a big part of the culture. And I mean, the AZ thing was just crazy because like they do the comparison between Liv and AZ, right? On the Jumbotron. Lynx admin tweets it out. And it kind of got lost that Natasha Howard, we asked her how, like, you know, you went 7 for 8 in the paint. And she's just like, yeah, it's really fun to play teams that don't protect the basket. And it's just like, that's way more of a shot.
Yeah, right.
Easy tweet. Like, Natasha Howard just dominated you and then called out your defense in a press conference. And Olivia Miles was just like cackling next to her as she was saying it. Like, that should be the headline. Like, the Lynx are calling out your entire interior defense and laughing at you. And the thing that got all of the traction was the AZ Live Twitter thing, which that's the stuff that blows my mind.
But that is as mad as I got, because I was like, what are we doing? Like, you got to be able to handle this a little bit if you're Dallas or, you know, an AZ fan. But that is one aspect of this whole growth of the league that simply did not exist when I was interning way back in the day. I'm way too old now, but like, to admit, but like, that was just, those games were kind of played in a silo, in a sense of like, they were still really talented. Like, not, you mentioned Maya Moore, like your favorite, like Lindsay Whalen, Rebecca Brunson, like Simone Augustus. Like, it was so much fun for me to go to work and make $4.99 an hour or whatever, like as an intern, to watch them play basketball, because they played at such a high level. But it wasn't on highlights. It wasn't on social media. Like, so even though I'm mad about the response to the graphic, like, it's cool that that's even a thing. And I know it was probably toxic on, someone said WNBA threads is a crazy place. I'm not going there, but
I'm not there either.
It is fun that that's like, we're having the same fights and shit talking and petty conversations on the WNBA side as we do for years on the NBA side. And that's probably the best sign that this thing is going in the right direction.
Completely agree. And I mean, I will say for people that are in here that don't know Natasha Howard's level of trash talk. She also multiple times have said it's really fun to play with the true point guard a year after being in Indiana, like deadpan straight face to the camera. Like, this team talks on it, which I do think it's interesting. Like, it's just a bunch of like hoopers having fun, which is I think why it's so much more fun this year than even last year. Is just like there's a different energy with them. They're just, I do feel like it's hard to explain like the difference between like a hooper and a basketball player. So if I get offline here, please correct me. But like Nafisa Collier is a basketball player, right? Like she has perfect footwork. Her jump shot is perfect. Like she follows a game plan perfectly. Olivia Miles is like a hooper. Like Courtney Williams is a hooper. Natasha Howard's is a hooper. It's like free and just fun, and they go off script and it's crazy. And like, I think WNBA Twitter is kind of catching up to that, because I don't think there's been a lot of just like pure hoopers that have come into the league and have just been able to be themselves and run their offense and talk the stuff that they're going to talk. Because I think for a long time, the like kind of direction from league officials was, you guys need to act a certain way. You have to be a certain way, respond to coaching. And I honestly attribute a lot of their growth of like, you just have people that are fun. It's not all basketball players anymore. You have the like Kevin Durant's and the trash talkers and all of the fun stuff in it.
I'm so with you. And again, I know this is live, so I'm not going to give you my Kathy takes on this podcast, but I do. I mean, that was kind of my bigger thing. And of course I'm biased, and of course I'm defending Lynx Twitter, but I just think the league, I've said this to you before, but like the league, and even I think just social media in general, has a lot of catching up to do with where this is heading. And I think it's heading in a really good direction. But yeah, man, like that's awesome to have. Anthony Edwards in his first couple of years got a lot of notoriety, not just because he was really good, because he was authentic and he was himself. And he was, one of the biggest memories any NBA fan has of Anthony Edwards is him hitting that shot over KD and then telling, like, one of the best, like, I'm here. And Olivia Miles didn't necessarily say that when she had that kind of wraparound layup against Asia Wilson, but that was kind of like one of her, like, I'm here. And I bet you if we were there in Vegas, like, she probably said a little something. So I just think that's the best part for the game. And if it trickles into social media, again, you want to keep it respectful at some point, but that's a good sign that this is all headed in the right direction. So are we going to do Timberwolves takes, or are we hanging it up?
I mean, it's up to you. I got nothing to do tonight. So if you have a few more minutes
on Timberwolves takes, how would you, I'm just taking over Andrew's show. How would you
it's fine.
approach the offseason? How would you do it? I don't know if you've heard. We're going to pivot to the NBA. Shout out to the Lynx, WNBA. They're going to win a title. We're now in NBA mode. If you don't know me, I cover the Timberwolves.
They're going to win a title. Shout out. They are. And I would start. I don't think I can technically bet on the WNBA.
Just Venmo me. I got you.
I would start putting money on the Lynx winning a title, because I think this team is just so different. Okay, so what would I do this offseason? I am boring. You know this about me.
That's great.
I would, and I haven't like written about it yet, of just putting all my thoughts out there, but I've organized them for a future piece. And I do think there's one thing that kind of has to happen. Like, I do think Julius has to be moved. I just, the end of the season, the weirdness of the team, it's just like, I think for both parties, like, Julius needs to be on a team where he can be a primary option and just like not have to be a point guard. And the Wolves need more clarity in the pecking order of like where this is going into the future. So like, I do think Julius is a piece that has to be dealt. Other than that, though, like, I would re-sign Io. I would, run out a starting lineup with Io, Ant, Jaden, Nas, and I would hold on to Rudy at least for the beginning of the season and run that starting five out. And then maybe you get a couple pieces for Randall that aren't as flashy, but are more in the like Dante DiVincenzo mold of like Max Strus or a Malik Monk, or someone that just like has a lot of like give a shit to him and has been more of like a journeyman. and then just see how it goes. Play 40 games. If you guys are they're 20-20, hey, Jaden's not a second option, Nas isn't a third option, trade him. Like, do what you got to do. But at least see what it would look like, because I do think there's a world where Jordan or where Jaden can be Pippen. I do think there's a world where Nas Reed could be the fourth best player on a championship team, and Jaden could be a second option and run stuff, and Io could grow into more of a decision maker and then just cook when people are on the bench. But that's admittedly, you're probably playing this season where where you were last year, where you're like a 3 or a 4 seed at best, and you're just gaining information, which when everybody's kind of worried about, hey, is Ant going to leave? Are rumors going to start getting larger? Does he need a second star? Like, my preferred off season is probably going to piss off fans, and you just don't know where it would go.
I think we've said this before online, and I don't want to step over my skis here, but I feel like I've been a mentor in Andrew's life. So as one content creator to the other, you didn't mention Giannis, Kawhi, Kyrie, or Ja Morant. So this is not going to get a ton of views. So you got to put those in the headline or whatever, or in the thumbnail. Joking aside, I totally agree with you. Like, I have marinated on this now for about a month since I got eliminated, and I just keep coming back to, like, Jaden McDaniels was untouchable many years ago in the Rudy Gobert trade. Jaden McDaniels is apparently already, again, untouchable in any trade. You have this French kid who's untouchable, who you think could be the center of the future. I would, and this is the one thing I'm proud of this year, other than the dog, is that I've created the threat levels, and we're all going to talk about threat levels all summer for the Timberwolves. But back to the fee thing, right? Before the season, before you knew what Olivia Miles was, like, I think the threat level, if you ever see it in an airport, was like orange. It was like, hey, there's a real chance she's out. It wasn't red. Red would be her being like, I need a trade. But it was like orange. I think with Ant, it's like yellow. Like,
I would agree.
Anything. I don't know if the Windhorse comments about him like questioning the roster. Dude, we're all questioning the roster. My God, dude, watch Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert play together. Like, I'm questioning it every night. I think it's yellow, and we have a long term until orange. But I am with you. I want to see empowered Jaden. I want to see Nas start. I would even maybe do the Rudy trade if you can get real assets now and find.
I would agree with that.
Centers that pair well with Baron J. I'm willing to take one step back in the 26-27 season to ultimately try to take like 2 or 3 steps forward by having some more youth and some more, like, what does Jaden McDaniels look like if he's given a little more of that Denver Nuggets usage, but over 82 games, right? Yeah. And I think without Julius Randle on the team, not to blame it all on him, but we invited him to this and he just didn't want to come to this interview either. So I think that's the way to do it. And there's a possibility that team sucks. And I totally get it. But if you're inside that building and you're like, dude, we can't have a big 3, quote unquote, of Ant, Jaden, and Nas, then you got to move one of them now. Yep. And that's kind of like my, you can't have it both ways thing. So I'm with you. I would not go star hunting. I would kind of retool. You'll never be able to rebuild with Anthony Edwards, because if you suck, he's out. But I would retool. I would try to build a couple more assets in that cupboard via a Rudy trade, or maybe you can get something for Julius. It's a positive asset. It sounds boring, but then I would lean into running more and more transition and more athleticism. And I think they're going to have a really big summer, even if it's not the Giannis stuff. I think they're going to do some crazy stuff, and then the pressure's on them, because back to the Lynx, like, you got to keep up with what I think is the best show in town right now. And that's also because I shit on the Twins all the time. But the best sport in town right now is the Minnesota Lynx. And you share, like you said, you share a practice facility with them. I think the Wolves have a lot of work to do, but I do kind of find myself more optimistic than I was a month ago. Like, I'm pretty excited about what they're going to do over the next 3 to 4 weeks.
I say this like often, of like a lot of the things that like I hope the Wolves are doing is like objectively selfish. Like, I want to gain the information of, is Jaden McDaniels the second? Could he be the second player on a championship team? Like, I don't know. He sure as hell looked like it at the end of the season and against Denver, but then he sure as hell didn't look like it against the Spurs. And was that because, he was just not as aggressive and Julius and Ant were both back on the court and his opportunities dried up? Or is that because he can't do it? And like, I want that information. Godfrey mentions Nas isn't a NBA starting power forward. Like, I don't know. He's a really good backup right now, but like, I don't think anybody can sit there and say like Nas Reed is a borderline all-star top 15 starting power forward in the league, because like we haven't seen it. I think he could be, but like I would like to know that. I'd also like to know like what Io looks like as a point guard for 40 games and not just 19. Like, what does TJ look like with more roll off the bench without Jay? Like, when you don't have Julius and Ant on this team, like, you can just mess around with stuff more because you don't have two 30% usage ISO dominant like ball stoppers. So a lot of like what I am hoping they do is just like, I just want the answers to a lot of the questions I have, which, does that win a championship next year? Probably not. But I do think, to your point, which I 100% agree with, if you don't think Ant, Jaden, and Nas are a big three that could win a championship, like, you got to trade one. Like, you can't have Jaden be untouchable and then also not think he's the second best player on a championship team, because like, you could go get a better second best player on a championship team for a Jaden, Rudy, or a Jaden, Julius, and young guys package, which, to your point, like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. I just hope they go the route where I get to answer a lot of questions.
And it's a great point by Godfrey. Like, maybe Nas isn't a starting four. But also just a couple of days ago, watched another starting 4 or 5, Karl-Anthony Towns, win an NBA title. And part of the reason that he was traded out of Minnesota was the financial flexibility to be able to pay Nas Reed like he is a starting 4. And I think that's where you and I are kind of just coming from here, is like, maybe the Jaden McDaniels Denver Nuggets series was just a flash in the pan and like the high point of his career. But I'm willing to kind of like bet on it. Like, I want to see it. Yep. I want to see, there was a lot of talk about the New York Knicks and the power of friendship with those 3 Villanova guys. And then obviously when Dante was there too, and just like the natural chemistry they had. I mean, I know Ant says Jaden's his favorite player, but like that Jaden Nas relationship, this better than anyone. Like, that's actually like a real thing. Like, those guys are actually,
they like go on vacations together.
Right. So
like, Jaden's kids call Nas Uncle Nas. Like, that is a real thing.
So I just, does that translate to like on the court? And I saw that comment you have out on the screen right now. You also have to mix in the fact that if you start losing a bunch of games, like, Ant's going to want to leave. I totally get that. I just wonder, can you build flexibility that allows you to maintain? I mean, I don't think the Wolves with a trio of Ant, Jaden, and Nas fully healthy, like, I don't think they're going to slide to the 9 spot. Like, I think that's a really good team. It's just, can they get to that first, second, or third in the West? But I just would not, again, back to the terror levels, the threat levels. I'm at a yellow right now. And I think when you get to orange or you get to red, that's when you start making the mistakes or the trades. It's like, if this doesn't work, we're screwed. If you trade Julius for nothing and you trade Rudy for some picks and a young player, like, you can respond to that or recover from that. If you put everything in the middle and you trade TJ and Jaden and Nas and Andrew and Olivia Miles and like 14 Lakes for Giannis, and his calf doesn't hold up, now it's done and it's over. And I'm not ready to do that yet.
That's been my pushback to a lot of the Giannis stuff, even the Kyrie stuff. That's kind of my pushback to it, of like, Julius is the biggest asset you have right now that is expendable. Like, maybe Rudy could get you an extra couple second round picks or something, but like, Julius is the big return from that Carl breakup where you're like trading a $200 sports cards for like $100 one and a $50 one, and then the Baron J pick. Like, if you turn Julius into Kyrie and he's just cooked, which I put it out on Twitter the other day. There's only 3 point guards that have torn their ACL after the age of 32. And it's Chauncey Billups, Baron Davis, and Doc Rivers. Like, yes, modern medicine has come a long way, but when you're on a list with 3 other people with anything in life, like, it's going to be tough. Like, I don't know. Kyrie could just be a 14-minute-a-night guy, and then you're trading your biggest kind of expendable asset for nothing, because Kyrie's picking up his player option. Like, we can break that, as Bill Simmons says all the time.
Yeah, I can
break
confirm
that right now. Like, he's picking it up.
Right.
And then you just have 40 million of dead cap Kyrie. It's the same thing with Giannis. Like, if you trade everything for Giannis and he doesn't age well, it's just over. It's done. At least if you make a couple smaller moves to just change the roster to make more sense, whether that's, like the Jalen Suggs thing got a lot of traffic. Hell, even if it's like Jose Alvarado, like, if you just make the roster make more sense, you have a way out of this without making bad mistakes. And I guess I would try that first before it's like, let's bring in Kawhi and hope his knee is good.
Right. You know what? That's on me. We could have just cut the NBA stuff, because I'm more focused again on, like, you were talking and I was kind of zoning out because the coffee wore on. I was like, what time do the Lynx play the Spark tomorrow? Because, like, I'm pretty excited about that game. So I think the Wolves will figure it out. It's gonna be if you are still listening and you're an NBA fan, like, I think it's gonna be a crazy summer for all teams as they kind of retool I think the NBA feels more wide open than ever with all the parity. But if you want to just watch basketball and you don't care about the transactions or the rumors or the drama, there is not a better ticket right now than going to watch a Lynx game. So I know they're on the road tomorrow, right, in LA.
Yep. They're in LA, and then they go to someplace else. Their next home game is on Saturday. And also, like, come say hi. They don't have the same, like, press, like, bodyguard things that, like, John Krasinski get. I think they just assume if I get tackled, it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, a couple of people said it in the chat the other day, like, they were sitting behind me and didn't come say hi. Like, I enjoy talking to people. It's literally what I've done my entire life, is talk to people. So, like, please come say hi.
I'm glad that you
on your comment. Nia Coffee is amazing. Hopkins Zone. She is fantastic.
I'm
Kyle,
so glad.
thanks for doing this. What's going on with you? Anything you got to plug? Any charities you want to shout out?
No, just always be nice to people. Go talk to people in general. Like, whether you see Dukowitz, like, out in the wild, man, just go say hi to him. And I'm so thankful. The one thing you did not do on this pod is ask me to explain what the Commissioner's Cup is, because I don't know what it is. And every game now is a Commissioner's Cup game, and it feels like we got more games than FIFA. So, no, the Lynx are great. I'm proud of you. This podcast is awesome. And the coverage you do on all sides, you're the busiest man I know. So we will do this again come Lynx playoff time, if not sooner, as we are announcing Lake of the Miles honorary day for Olivia Miles for winning MVP, Coach of the Year, Rookie of the Year, and maybe the new president.
I mean, might as well. If you tuned into this a little bit late and want to catch the Lynx side of it, does get posted up on YouTube, X, and Buzzer as soon as I end the stream here. Feel free to go watch it from the beginning. We talk Lynx until about the 45-minute mark. If you can wait until tomorrow, it does get posted as a podcast at 7 a.m. And we will be back after the Sparks game tomorrow for a probably midnight live stream, which Lynx fans, y'all are crazy. I appreciate you guys staying up with me, and we'll catch you then.